Something not adding up. Something not making sense.
Don't make sense because the thing did say under 2 ounces. So I'm wondering, okay, let's be cool. We're back on. Hey, I apologize for that. Hopefully people do come back on because a new link went out.
Oh, girl.
So yeah, we took the other one down and put a new one up. So hopefully, they're actually watching right now. So we do apologize for that. We're not sure what happened. Our sound just disappeared on us, so we figured out how to bring it back. So here we are again. We get back to in other words, that right there made a nigga angry. You know, and the fear angry would have made me tear up all this shit. You know, like fuck this computer, fuck this camera, just tear all that shit up. That's the danger of that anger that we were talking. You know, so hopefully you are back with us. If not, I'm sure you'll catch the show later. But hey, hopefully you are with us because we wouldn't mind somebody calling in and talking to us about their anger and shit. Like Danny, you got that anger about them women that won't submit to your ass. You're angry about bitches not being in their place.
They're in the ant bed.
See, that's the old one. Why is
that's the old still?
Because it says 7. It should have it at for like 850.
So you on a new one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look for it.
Thing?
There's supposed to be a new one up.
A new page?
But yeah, I need one of those. It should be for 850, which would be like what 1 something in the morning.
Oh no, wrong one. Something like that.
It would be like 150 in the morning, not 12. Unless that's what it defaults to, no matter what. I took one down. So that has to be it because I took down what was there.
You did?
What was there, I deleted that shit.
Okay, so that's it.
We're on. So it got to be that one. Even though it says upcoming, it got to be that one.
We have 2 of the same. Okay, we got a problem.
So when you go to that one, it brings you to that one?
Both of them are, it's showing this picture. It's showing this picture, but when I go in, it takes us down to speed.
It says one waiting though. Go to that, click it on and see what happens. Why that?
What Dante or which one?
The one ours that takes you to the Dante one because it said one waiting. See, look. So hit that.
Live in 46 hours.
And if you go to the other one that's there, what about the one that's actually hers? What does it say for that when you go to that one?
Let's find out. Let's find out right now.
Does it go to the same shit?
Yep, same thing. Both of them keep going back same one. Oh, we're back up, right? Oh yeah.
Which one do you?
Bobby got us going live, man.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Which one do we go to?
I went to the
Give us 1 second. We're trying to join you guys in 1 second.
The picture with the dude, the anger face.
That's where I kept going. It kept taking me to Dante's page.
Go all the way out here, and then come back to the YouTube.
Okay.
Maybe that's what it is because they're up. It didn't make no sense for you to hit that and takes you to Dante. Both of them put the same exact shit. That made no sense.
Every time I go into the other one, the one for today's episode, it took us back to that one.
46 hours. Yeah. That made no sense. That's why I said go to the other one, see if that's in the same.
Right, same exact thing.
So we got 2 of them out there for that.
That's
Sure. Hit. Okay, remote.
Bear with us, everybody. We're about to go live. We'll be ready in 1 minute. So now, there we go. That's what we need.
We just had to refresh.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. Back in the game, baby. That's what's up. Wow.
There you go. So
the network went slow tonight.
Yeah, he's okay. Hardwired. Never seen it.
What?
That laptop doesn't hardwire. There's no hardwire plug.
Really?
Makes no sense. I've never seen a computer that does that. I thought all of them had at least a chance to hardwire. That's strictly Wi-Fi.
Damn.
You would think though it was strictly Wi-Fi. Good shit.
Damn, Damn. But nonetheless, man.
But we're back.
Yeah, picking up. Thank you guys so much for coming back, or at least looking at it at a later time. We saw we had a couple of technical difficulties that it was a problem bigger than us, but both Bobby and Lowe's got the problem fixed. I'm sorry, Bobby and Lowe's, they got the problem taken care of. So thank you, brother, so much for getting us back up and online. And thank you for being patient with us, and we apologize to our guests to have to wait so long before we can go back on live.
See, that's great. He just hang out anyway.
But thank you, Rick. Thank you, man.
He just hang out anyway.
Thank you for your patience, brother.
All right. Is it echoing, Danny? Or is it good? He's just saying we live, so he's back with us. He'll say something if it is. I don't know why it's moving so slow there. Though.
So where were we, brothers, when we were last speaking? I think Rick was explaining something to us.
Saying something about how some of the people that he talked to, they let that anger just they don't get angry then, but they'll hold that shit till later.
Okay.
And that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
You know?
And so it's beneficial to talk to somebody to learn how to not compartmentalize. You've got to find a way to constructively let go of that anger. Just like a pressure cooker. Got that thing on in this, like, all right, you know, if you don't handle it right, man, you'll have collard greens all over your kitchen.
I used to be scared going to the kitchen when my mama had that shit going because they always talk about how that shit would
pressure
blow up
cooker
out of
blow
nowhere.
up.
I used to be scared of that shit. Boy. Like, what? I'm not going to the kitchen till I hear that turn the fuck off.
But it's a process you have to work at, man. And I do it now, and it really starts with setting boundaries. If you set boundaries, whether it's with friends or family members, you don't know what to expect because you've told them. And people that don't do that, that old saying, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Before you know it, you got a problem.
That shit make you angry. You gotta learn how to hold it back, especially when it's family and shit.
Right. Even just now with me, I've got a situation where my daughter asked me to let her use my car. We were supposed to go to South Carolina and Georgia last Christmas. She wanted to use my car, so her son's family members on that side, the father could see him. I said, well, hold up. You're out here with your son because he ain't doing the right thing. Now, because we're going back there, you want me to pay for all of us to go back out there. Then you want me to be stuck in Georgia for a hot couple of days while you use my car. That I got to gas up to go up there and come back and feed you while you're up there. So your son's father could see him. I said, nah. And I was real calm when I said it. I explained why I said it. My daughter was standing up and she looked at me and said, well, I'm grown and you can't keep me here. I said, I ain't trying to keep you here. And if you're grown, why are you here? You just made me turn around and come back out here and get you after a week and shit. That shit turned into a level of disrespect that I had never felt before in my house. Man, it was that level of disrespect that, man, has you at that anger point that makes you want to do something to somebody. But you can't do nothing to her because that's your dog. If it was just another dude you was talking to in the street that flipped your switch like that, you'll be wanting to get with them. It was that crazy. I do a lot of work. I've done a lot of work with people at veterans at the VA. I've seen people angry about a whole bunch of stuff, man. Whole bunch of stuff. Um, Anger is a cancer. That shit'll eat you up. It eat up the family, man.
See that board? I got some things that I looked up earlier about anger. Uh, 7 ways. 7 ways. 7 ways anger is ruining your health. Number one was an angry outburst puts your heart at great risk. Number two was anger ups your stroke risk. Number three, it weakens your immune system. Anger problems can make your anxiety work. No, you don't fuck around. Make your anxiety worse. Number five was anger is also linked to depression. Number six, hostility can hurt your lungs. And number seven was anger can shorten your life. Pretty much like you were saying. But those are things that I got that out of the Everyday Health, everydayhealth.com. This article was by Debbie Strong back in 2015.
Everything you're talking about is stress.
That's cool.
Everything you're talking about is stress.
That's what they're saying. It makes it worse.
Stress will kill you.
Sure, no, I've always said that. Stress will fuck you up. And being angry just makes it worse.
Right. Would you say that you've had, at some point in your life, you've had like anger management issues?
Oh, yeah.
How long was it before you realized that you have anger management issues? Because sometimes we may not know the way that we may be behaving towards other people. You know what I mean? Until we actually see how other people have been affected by it, and we see that pattern over and over and really common denominator. But up to that point, like, what made you turn inward and say, man, I gotta manage myself better?
Me myself. Yeah. 14, 15. And it was more because of my relationship with my father. Boundaries. But at 14, you don't know anything about boundaries,
Right? Plus, that's your dad.
because that's your dad. You don't know nothing about boundaries. But unfortunately, sometimes by the time you learn about boundaries, it's too late because you become that person too, because that's how you know how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the torch has been passed.
When you say you had like anger management or issues or behaviors, like, is it because you saw a certain pattern of behavior in the household and started mimicking what you saw, or was it a situation where something happened that changed you, in other ways? Like, and what I mean by that, just simply is like, and I'm not applying this to you, But what I mean is that, like, a lot of children that are abused have anger management issues, not because they're bad kids, but because that situation changed something in their life. You know what I mean? And they spend the rest of their lives trying to make sense of all of that. You know what I mean? So, but they're not bad kids at all. Anger management issues, that's quite normal in certain situations. You know what I'm saying? How did it come about for you, man?
But you hit the nail on the head. That's where I've always been.
Yeah, yeah.
Even Carlos might might remember it too. But man, we were in Stuttgart, shit, 1980, 83, 84. We were in high school, but we would go downtown and hang out and drink at bars and clubs. And honestly, man, it was nothing for to hear about one of us getting into a squabble with some German people, man, or even with uh, some GIs that was our age, man. We'd be beating their ass downtown. We was in high school. But my case was more of a learned behavior type of thing. And uh, some mental abuse that I went through with my dad. Oh man, my dad's a motherfucker, man. But that's where it started. And before you know it, you almost you get caught up in that shit. And when you become grown, you're not even realizing, man, that you're doing the same shit. And you think it's almost normal behavior.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Until something happens. There, believe me, there for every if you're a normal motherfucker, man, believe me, there's gonna be something that happens in your life, whether it's your spouse, your child, a friend of yours, somebody's gonna say, yo, man, yo, bro.
Chill.
He stole this shit out. But the other thing that leads to that is a lot of people that get caught up in that cycle. There's also a cycle of substance abuse.
Absolutely.
So you get a handle on one, you can't get a handle on the other. You can't get a handle on one without getting a handle on the other. And in order to do that, then you have to get that person comfortable to where they can sit across from somebody or in a group of people and let out some of their damn darkest secrets, man. Because believe me, everybody in that room, they got some shit too that they need to get up off of. So, I've gone through periods, man, where I've had like pent up anger. And it'll take one thing to set that shit off, man. Next thing you know, everybody around me is going to hear it, man.
That's when you start thinking about everything that everyone else, how they pissed you off at one time. It comes out good. You know, you cuss that person out, that person, and you be doing this shit, and it goes to the next person. Next, you know, everybody else is arguing too. You know,
And it's not a healthy situation.
Yeah.
Because, you be sitting there, man, thinking, okay, now I told all them motherfuckers about themselves. But all the people you talk that shit to, they standing over there looking at your ass like you lost your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only because you got caught up in the cycle of feeling at an early age, 13, 14, 15. That shit was normal. So at 30, you're thinking that shit's normal. Yeah. Still cussing motherfuckers out, man, like it's a thing to do. I could, you know, it's normal.
That's what you do.
Until you find out, man, you've been married 2 or 3 times and
You uh, get to a point where you was like, man, I need.
everybody else can't be wrong. Everybody else can't be wrong. So if you really sit back and self-analyze your life and how things have gone, where things have gone wrong, where things have gone right, then you'll be able to see and you'll be able to, you know, you're an adult, say, man, look here, I got something going on, man, and I need to get with somebody and address this issue. And if you don't, you're always gonna be stuck in it. You're always gonna be stuck in it, man. When you're like, yeah, I need to get it taken care of. 3 years from now, you be saying the same thing, man.
After you blow up on somebody.
After you done blown up on people again,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So, um, but like I said, man, I'm in something right now where I'm working on putting boundaries to where you let people know exactly what you expect from them, and you let them know what they're gonna get from you. Because I'm really one of those people, man. I can sit back and watch everybody in the family, man. I watch all my friends and this and that, co-workers, this and that. And as soon as I get enough of your shit, there could be something else outside of you on my way, man. A dude cut me off, man. I almost rear-ended him. Now I'm already mad. I get to work and I got to fuck with you.
Just making it work. And you both get it now too.
Yeah.
I'm already mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially this Houston traffic. Oh yeah, I'll be ready to kill him off.
Let me tell you about your dumb ass shit. So, I've been there from time to time, man. But I've learned enough about not so much as like what I've done, but I've learned about my different interactions with people. And now I'm learning to balance that out. And like I said, man, I just had something happen not too long ago, a couple of months ago. And the best thing I did was packed up a gym bag, went to Oklahoma, man, for about 2-3 weeks. Came back. My daughter was still at my house. And so I went and got me a hotel for about 2 weeks. She left, I went back to my house. But I went back to my house because my wife was leaving, going to do some pet sitting stuff. And so since all of this happening, like in this end of October, November, even up until this day, every 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to see my brother in Oklahoma. Stay up there 2 or 3 weeks until I get tired, then I'm gonna come back. I was going there watching some of his women's basketball games and shit. Traveling with them. I didn't have to be mad not one time. And I realized that shit. I was like, man, you know what? I ain't been mad the whole time I've been gone. I ain't been mad the whole time I've been gone. My wife's been at the house since I've been back. She walk in the house up just like this still, man. Just doing everything. So I'm making a conscious effort to sit back and go, you know what? Let me hold this shit in until everybody's gone. Just let me process it. Or I just snap off. Because even if I can just process, even without talking to some people, I'll come to an understanding to know where I am, what that shit was about.
That anger ain't worth it. Not at this time.
Not at this time anyway.
That's good though that you're identifying what's making you angry, what's bringing you to that point. You're trying to work on it as you know, right there, real time. I'm gonna work on this right now. So think about to myself. So that's pretty cool.
I don't have to bring it to your attention, man.
Right.
Because bringing it to your attention could create a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? Let me process on why I felt about why he or she said what they said or did what they did. Let me deal with that myself. Let me sit back, man, take 15, 20 minutes, man, and just think about that and process it, man, and go, you know what? Okay. I can't control that they said or did that shit. Just know next time what to expect. You know what I'm saying? You just know what to expect.
I don't know how you act like
And so you're never surprised.
But would you have the same anger just because you know how to process and deal with it?
No, because I would be programmed just to myself. I'd be like, I'm getting ready to run up on so and so tonight. Tell them what he or she may say. Tell them what he or she may do.
So you're just not gonna get mad anymore.
Just be prepared. Just be prepared for whether they do it or don't. But if they do it, knew there was a chance they was gonna do it. So all you can do is just be like,
just laugh at it. It's like
keep it moving.
Rick, people that may share similar experiences such as yourself, what would you say to those people to say, hey man, here's what I've learned from responding to life like this. And here are ways that you can go about, engaging people differently with respect, with dignity, and getting it as well without there being any emotionalism in it or any issues involved. You know what I mean? Like, what do you, how would you tell somebody to get from the point they are now to the point where you are now and what you've learned?
Bruh, the only way to get to any positive point, once you realize what's going on, if it's especially if it's causing you problems in other facets of your life, um, whether it's substance abuse, man, depression, and or both. Um, Once you recognize it, you talk to somebody. The best thing you can do is sit there in a room with somebody that you don't know, all this shit out. They get paid to listen to all that shit.
And can't tell nobody what you said either.
Let it out, man. It's gonna stay in that room.
It feels better, man.
Yeah. Because they don't necessarily know the situation, but they're listening to you and they're asking you questions
Right.
based upon what you say. And then they have a way of breaking it down to the root of what's really going on. And once you can get to that, if you're lucky enough to be able to free yourself from that root, man, and let that shit go, you're gonna be a happier person. I'm not saying you're gonna be happy all the time. 'Cause you ain't never gonna forget, what went on. But you're better able to process it and not project that on other people.
Right.
And that's the key right there, to not project that shit on other people.
Absolutely.
So you do recommend you seeking out therapy or counseling or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Because it's a stranger that gets you to really get it all out. They don't know who the fuck you're talking about anyways.
I recommend therapy or counseling for anybody, man. I promise you I do. They can tell you some things. Like I say, based upon what you say, this ain't no fortune telling. You know what I'm saying? They're asking you questions and telling you things based upon what you say. And before you know it, if they ask you a question, then you start thinking about other stuff, man. And then all this shit starts making sense. And you're able to process it better. Some people at some point are able to come to a place, man, where they're at peace with it. Other people, man, shit, that's just an ongoing battle.
They don't know how to stop.
Everybody's not the same. Just because me and you was able to sit in group therapy and reconcile some shit and kind of halfway let it go, doesn't mean that they were able to. And then because then, man, it depends on the kind of trauma you're talking about.
Absolutely.
People take their lives and become alcoholics and homeless and murderers and criminals, and jails are full of people where probably 90% of them have some kind of mental illness having to do with some kind of trauma. And probably it was never diagnosed until they got locked up. They had to be assessed and all that other shit.
Have you ever been in a situation, Rick, as a result of your anger, taking that out on someone else to a degree where you realize that punishment didn't fit the crime? Like, I really went overboard in this situation towards this person. Did you have situations like that happening throughout your life? Those kind of situations? or did you mainly maintain and keep those emotions inside, bottled up?
Oh no, 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 no. I probably really can't uh recall too many specifics, but I had plenty of instances to where uh you're caught in a situation and you'll say shit, man. Ironically, my same nephew I just talked to you about earlier. He said something to me earlier today. He was like, man, you know what? Everybody thinks you're crazy. He said, but man, you know what? You ain't crazy. He said, you're just the only one in the family that will come out and call a spade and say exactly what you think about a certain situation or a certain person. You're the one that ain't afraid to say it. But that shit doesn't always serve the right purpose. I'm just that one where, man, look here, you didn't cross that line with me. And before we get to fighting, I'm ready to let you know about yourself in front of everybody out here.
So
and
I whoop your ass, don't know why.
then we can get to squabbling. Yeah.
Don't know that you deserve that ass whooping.
Right. And my anger from an early age was always over the top. I didn't know how to like gradually get mad. I'd go from like 0 to on fire. And before I knew it, I was in trouble. You know,
You know, a lot of children that get diagnosed as ADD or ADHD, they see the behavior of ADD or ADHD, like you see how you're describing it, and they'll frame it that way to say, hey, this person has a proclivity to, angry impulses or violent impulses or what have you. But what you're really looking at is, a lot of times, when it's at a young age like that, a lot of times what you're looking at is there's no physical activity as a part of the educational curriculum anymore. And they've been phasing the importance of that out.
I don't know what the physicality has to do so much with what somebody is feeling mentally. Because you're talking about physical activity versus um, physical activity versus a feeling that's that's purely mental, um, based on chemical imbalance.
That's interesting. As medicated as our children are they all needing the medications they're taking as a result of this chemical imbalance? Imbalance.
Could tell you, dude, I'm not a doctor.
You know, most of our society is medicated.
Uh, I couldn't even, if you put the numbers right here in front of me, I couldn't agree or disagree. I promise you. I'll say that I know enough about depression and shit like that to know that that starts with there's a chemical imbalance dealing with dopamine. Feel good, the natural feel good drug that you produce. Um, some people that use certain type of drugs stunted. What I mean by that is some addiction counselors will tell you that at whatever age that you really became engulfed in drugs and alcohol, your brain and social interaction is kind of stunted at that point, whether it's 14, 15, 16.
Try 5, 6, 7, Ritalin. That's the point I'm making.
Back in the day,
Right.
So are you saying, I want to make sure we understand what we're talking about. Are you telling me that if this is as a result of a chemical imbalance, that you feel that the number of children that are currently medicated throughout the world, much less our society, they're needing the medications that they're being given, that this is not a behavioral issue?
Not if you're talking about those kids are the product.
These children have way much more access to pharmaceutical drugs, whether it's through a part of their educational curriculum, whether the health human services pushes it or what
So-
have you. It's normal now for a 5-year-old
So
to be taking pharmaceutical drugs.
So remember now, when you talk about things that are passed from adults to kids, they're talking about that. That's why when you go to the doctor, they want to know, does anybody in your family have a history of depression, addiction, any of that? You're talking about dopamine again in the brain, right? You're talking about not so much changing chromosomes and that shit, but you're passing down the genetics of alcoholism and mental illness from one generation to the next.
I don't doubt that. I don't.
So when
I
you
don't
talk
doubt
about kids that are 5 or 6 years old, I don't know too many kids that are diagnosing that as depressed at 5 or 6. But as far as like ADHD,
That's what
probably so.
That's what they're diagnosed as, because you can't give a 5-year-old a depressive diagnosis.
But
That's why it's that.
but
Does that change
But-
to depressors as they get older?
When it changes, notice most of the people that end up with diagnoses end up with bipolar disorder.
So by the time they get older,
Notice before it was bipolar disorder, it was called manic depression.
right?
they still
I'm
diagnose
showing you a
people with,
line.
they still diagnose people with manic depression.
I'm showing you a line.
Didn't they used to give that Ritalin to the hyperactive
Absolutely.
kids?
Because the kids had a lot of energy in class. They're like, well, shit, they're not going outside and having recess too much anymore.
Yeah, they would always be the.
So let's dope them up. That way we ain't got to deal with them.
They get used to it, just chill.
Give them recess, a lot of those behavioral problems start mellowing out, because now you have to deal with social interaction,
Right, right.
which is another thing
Recess.
that the schools are significantly deficit in. Because your experiences in school are just as much social as anything you learned academic, whatever school you went to.
That's right.
That was just as important.
That's when you learn how to get along.
How you
with a
get
lot of
along on
different
the
people.
playground?
Yep.
How do you deal with conflict when you get older? You learned that on the playground.
Right.
What's up? If you ain't got you another ball and you gonna wait your turn.
You know, we
I'm
little
gonna
rocks,
play with
poke
something
you with all
else.
the little rocks. Yeah, that's crazy.
To get with this group, I'm gonna create my group.
See, that's my problem.
That's all I used to.
That's my problem with it all.
Activity. That's why they would give these kids this medicine.
Just take this,
and
push them in the
mellow
corner.
out, you know, it'll mellow them out, you know.
And then you wonder why now you have a population for about the last 20 plus years now. You have a population of young adolescents now committing mass murder. And if you look at most of them that are guilty of those crimes, there's as my man said, a history of substance abuse and some kind of diagnosis.
That Ritalin made them killers.
They took medications
And they pushed them to be anti.
a long time.
Yeah, that's right. Push them to not socialize. You keep to yourself, because when you socialize, you too crazy. You actually
Look at how you're failing your children.
My parents doped me up, shit, because they were trying to figure why I was so hyper and all this, give me the pill to calm the ass down. Half of the shit I was like, ain't taking. I just threw it out my ain't taking shit.
Look at the access, illegal and legal, of medication and drugs that they have access to.
The legal system is the problem.
Shit, that's
The
you damn right about
legal
that. That is a major part of it. You damn right about that. But I'm not going to argue the merit of it, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong. That's not my whole point. My thing is, like, at some level, Rick, you realized, and you put in the work, you realize that if I continue to respond to problems or situations like this in my life, if I continue to keep this path, there's going to be some consequence I really don't want, whatever that is.
Guess what that is, man? Guess what will make you stand up and take notice of your shit?
Shit, loss of some kind.
All you got to do is face the loss of your goddamn family,
There
your
it is.
kids.
There it
I
is.
guarantee.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah.
If you got peace of a mind,
Yeah.
the loss. If your wife looks at you and says, "I can't do this no more," and your daughter's unhappy, and this, and that,
Yeah. That's real.
I guarantee.
That's real. That's real. That's real.
That shit will make you come to your senses and say, maybe I do have a problem. But key to that is don't let nobody, and I mean nobody, make you believe that you're the entire problem.
Amen.
Right, right.
You are never the entire problem, man. That shit just ain't true.
If that was true, then you're just making shit up.
There are things that lead up to circumstances, man. Circumstances that lead up to situations. You are never the whole problem. So the most important thing is understanding that you are never the whole problem. Because once you start believing that, then you really start thinking less of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving them more power. But we're going back to boundaries. Remember what I said about the boundaries?
Mm-hmm.
You got to let them know what you expect,
Mhm.
what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept, and what you're going to give them and what you're not going to give them. That way they understand, okay, he's got some kind of line drawn in the sand where he or she's not going to give me any kind of bullshit. They're going to give it to me straight. Hopefully you can come to that point with somebody. But it takes a minute to get there with yourself. with yourself, because when you have anger towards people, you tend to put up walls. See what I'm saying? And you got the walls up because you got to protect yourself. Now, in dealing with all of this, you're good with when the goalposts a little bit, let people think they're getting close to you. They really ain't. That's just a mirage too. They think they done got closer. The wall didn't come this way. I didn't go that way. So it takes some learning to be able to let your guard down, man, and just exhale with people, man, and be authentic, because you can be real guarded, man, if people don't know you. I was telling this guy the other day, I said, man, I can go to a party, man, and know everybody up in that shit, man. I'm gonna walk through there, man, dap everybody up, shake hands, how you doing, man, drink a beer, man. Before you know it, I done worked my way all the way back around the room to the goddamn door. And I'm getting ready to slide up out of there, man, because I done seen everybody. I'm getting ready to get in my car, and I'm getting ready to goddamn go burn off, man. Next thing you know, tomorrow, they be like, damn, dog, where you go, man? I be like, well, I was outside, but they be like, oh, no shit, I ain't even see you, man. I be like, man, all these people, man. I'm that person. I'm in, say hey to the whole room. Before you know it, I burnt off, man, just that quick.
Yeah, man.
My car won't even get cold, man. My engine won't even get cold, bro. By the time I make my circle, man. Give me a beer, smoke me a couple joints, man. I'm out, bro. I'm out. I like being by myself because I know I can't get in trouble, and I ain't got to be mad at nobody if I'm by my damn self.
Unless you mad at yourself.